Hey everyone, today I'm going to introduce you to Katherine Villarreal. She will share her journey and what she's doing now. So I'll let her start with that. Like, hey, Katherine, kind of share what you do now and what you're going towards, kind of a little bit of your journey.
Okay. Well, what I'm doing now is I'm actually a college professor. I've always been an educator. I would say I would kind of been two things. I've always seen myself as an educator and an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And so I actually started being an entrepreneur when I was a young kid. I
Mm.
was always, it didn't make sense why I always wanted to try to make money. I grew up kind of poor. I was one of six kids. And so I really kind of started my entrepreneurial journey on the bus. I
Mm.
would go and I would buy those. I don't know if you remember those Jolly Rancher sticks. They
Uh-huh.
used to sell them for 10 cents and I'd sell them for a quarter. I
Uh,
made a lot of money doing that. But I also always kind of think back to my past. I always wanted to be a teacher. I
mm.
was always helping students, like my fellow classmates. I was real good at math, so they always came to me and wanted me to help them. So when I was graduating from college, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I really wasn't sure about teaching either. I couldn't see myself sitting in day out in an office. So I joined a volunteer program.
Mm.
They sent me to South Central Los Angeles where I started my teaching career.
Mhm.
So I did not like teaching high school, and I definitely didn't like teaching in California. But over time, I moved around a lot and I stuck with it. So
Mm.
that kind of really brings me to where I'm at now. I've been teaching at the college level for the past 20 years. I'm actually going into my 21st year.
Mhm.
I love teaching. It's a great job being a college professor, but that entrepreneurial spirit just keeps coming back.
Mhm.
And so teaching's not enough. And that's why I've kind of branched out now. I did a lot in real estate. I started working in real estate in 2005,
Mhm.
did a lot of investing, learned a lot. So what I'm doing now is kind of taking what I've learned as being an educator and everything I've learned being a real estate investor, and I'm putting those two together and now working on this new company, Ripcord. And
Got
that kind of brings me to where I'm at now.
Awesome. Well, going back to your, obviously childhood, you've been an entrepreneur all your life seems like what the trigger was like, hey, your circumstances, your childhood, like, hey, I need to make my own money at
Mm.
one point, right? But then when you became the professor, what changed for you to go this real estate investor journey versus any other venture in the business world, I guess.
Yeah. Well, where I was teaching, I one of my colleagues
Mhm.
introduced me to real estate, and she was talking to me and was kind of sharing with me what she does and wanted to know if I wanted to maybe partner with her on a rehab and rental.
Mhm.
And so I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Teach me a little bit about it. But also at that time, I was buying a new house.
Mm.
And I found myself really interested in real estate going through the process of buying my own house. So I started
Mm.
taking the classes. And
Mm.
I was taking the classes to become a realtor,
Mm.
not realizing that you have to work under a broker, you have to stay on top of things. But math and teaching was my passion. So instead of going the realtor route,
Mm.
I started investing. And the reason why, especially in real estate, is that math.
Right.
It's the numbers, the crunching of the numbers and seeing it in real life. When I teach, I'm not really into the theoretical math so much. I love applied math.
Mm.
And it doesn't get more applied than real estate.
Right.
And so that's the route I took. And that helped me in the classroom too, because now I had real life examples of, okay, amortization and calculating payments, the financial side of things. But that's definitely what got me into that direction. So in answer to your question of why I'm not really thinking about, I guess, I mean, after being 20 years a college professor and loving it, now I just feel like it really is time to take everything that I've learned and just take it to the next level and to start thinking about my retirement too, because you can't really retire on a teacher's salary too much. it's hard to retire in that. And I'm getting older and I have to think about that. Probably will still keep my foot in the classroom a little bit. You know, they always need part-time instructors. But that's kind of the reason why I have to start thinking about the future and just the possibilities of everything I've learned and making a difference in that industry of all the issues that I've seen. And we have the solution now.
Awesome.
Well, yeah.
With that, I guess let's get into that, right? So one of the questions is, what are you doing now and how can it help people, and how can people be involved? I guess get into that, kind of explain the new company or new process or new investment strategy, I guess, that you're wanting to share.
Okay. I've had rentals, but I've done rehabs and I've done some new construction. I've worked with lenders. And so some of the biggest issues that I ran into, especially even right now, I'm in the process of working on a new construction project in a city kind of just outside of Dallas. And again, the same issues over and over and over. Small, medium contractors in particular, my heart is kind of there. There's a lot of really good ones out there, but they have special, very unique challenges that some of the bigger contractors don't have. Bigger contractors have a place to go and resources, but the small and medium do not. And so they're constantly, what we're finding is, and a lot of people I talk to, they say, yeah, I can relate to that. They'll have a project, they'll have a contractor come in and start on a project. And then next thing you know, they're having to run over to this other project because they don't have enough cash flow to keep this one going. And they're not bad contractors. They're just trying, they always say it's the cash flow issue. Mm-hmm. And part of that too comes from a lender. So when an investor like myself, especially with new construction and you're doing draws, you've got these lenders that you're trying to work with that they're not always real good about giving you money when when that part of the project is done. So they're holding up draws, which in turn affects the contractors who need to get paid. And some of them live, especially the employees that work for the GCs, some of them live paycheck to paycheck. So they're not paid, and it's just a vicious cycle. And so what we're going to do is we're going to solve that problem, and we're going to be a funding partner for these small, medium-sized contractors. We're going to come in, we're going to help fund, get their projects started. And especially nowadays, we're finding a lot of homeowners, whether they're investors or homeowners, they don't want to put money up front. So who's going to put that money up front? Contractors. There are a lot of contractors are having to turn down good jobs because they don't have enough upfront cash. So Ripcorp comes in, we're going to provide the funding to order supplies and materials. And some of those have to be ordered like months in advance. So we're going to go ahead and get that taken care of. We're going to help them get the project going, provide the funding for that. We can make sure payroll is done on time, every time. And then on the back end, we then go and we can collect the funds from the whoever's in charge of paying that bill. But we're literally going to help the contractor from beginning to end and help them be better, which in turn helps the community. From an investor's side, we are currently raising capital to make this all happen. So we have options for people that have a vision and want to be a part of this solution. They can invest in our company, whether it be through stock options or loans. But we have options there for them too, to be a part of this and be a part of the solution.
Awesome. So as you heard, Katherine, so if you're a contractor, GC and so on, DFW area right now,
right. Yeah.
Or if you're an investor looking for this other ways of investing money, real estate space wise especially, then either way you can reach out to Katherine and she can share the information and see if it's a fit, and maybe you guys can do business together. I'll be posting their website, pages, or social media for the company, RIP company, and you guys can reach out through that to Katherine or her partners, whoever is available. Awesome, Catherine. So with that being said, you're doing the dual role now, but what does inspire you to get up and do what you do every day these days then?
Oh, I have a very strong sense of purpose. I guess my family would tell me I'm a workaholic, but it comes from, yeah, I like being a part, and I've done several things along the way that's gotten me here. This is by far the biggest thing that probably that I've done so far. And but I've always wanted to be a part of something big. Or it doesn't even have to be something big. Some of the things, like I said, I did, it was a part of something. I'm a builder, I'm an achiever. And when it comes time when I'm on my deathbed, and that was one of the reasons why I got into teaching, because I knew I was making a difference. I want to be able to look back and say, hey, did I do something? Did I solve a problem? Did I make a difference? Well, Rip Corp is definitely, teaching obviously makes a difference, but Rip Corp is definitely something that's our plan is to revolutionize the construction industry. And if we do that, like we plan to, that will make a huge difference for everybody, contractors, homeowners, the community. And that's what it's about. So that's kind of our vision.
Awesome. That's making a difference. That definitely is inspiring. Awesome. Well, you've been, in an entrepreneur journey ever since you were a kid selling, those candies, I guess.
Made a fortune on that. I can't believe how, yeah.
Right.
There's hungry
So,
kids.
you learned a lot of lesson tips and tricks, I'm sure, right? But you have to share one tip that has helped you, personal or professional, doesn't matter. What's that one tip that you can share?
I would say now, and I can't necessarily say I've completely learned it yet. I'm still working on this, and people hear it all the time. You got to find balance. You got to have work-life balance. I still struggle with that to this day, but don't learn the hard way. I did learn the hard way, and it's got me to realize you have to spend time too with your family and the people you love, because that rejuvenates you too, because that's part of the reason why we do what we do. And if you forget that and put them off to the side, then they're not going to be there. They're part of the journey. So have that balance. And like I said, I'm trying to practice what I preach. I'm not going to lie, but you got to take care of yourself, and that's important. And I realize that more and more too. The older I get, you got to go to the gym once in a while. You got to step away from the desk and the office, and you got to take care of yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, no, definitely. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You have to keep in mind, because if you are not well, then it doesn't matter what you do, right?
Exactly.
So all those relationships. Awesome tip, Catherine. So yeah, again, like I mentioned, I'll be sharing all the information for our company, and you guys can reach out to her. Catherine, thanks for taking the time today.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it. I always enjoy talking with you.
Thank you.